Welcome to Swooning Over Stands, a Grunkle dating sim. Yeah, good old road trips, full of promise and ripe with potential for adventure, soul-searching, and incredible scenery. Or at least that's what you thought before the novelty wore thin. As of now, your legs are cramping up, you've exhausted your travel playlist 2 times over, and your stomach is begging for something to eat. On top of all that, you're pretty sure you're lost. Driving through Oregon paints a picture of trees and more trees, especially on the endless winding roads that you're taking up north. All that breaks the pattern is a sign that zips past with words that you're barely able to make out. Gravity Falls. The road continues on, giant redwood blooming on both sides. You find yourself anticipating something because as you drive on, you can feel it. Something strange is bound to happen here. Something weird. And that's when it happens. Your car picks up speed. The change comes out of nowhere and you quickly put your foot on the brakes, but horrifyingly, the car seems to be driving on its own willpower. Trying to stay calm despite the panic welling in your chest, you pull the emergency brake only to find the car resists and keeps moving forward, like something is pulling it. The car begins to rattle. The wheels screech against the country road and you're screaming until... crash! Well, we made it to the gift shop. There's smoke. Why is there smoke? You cough, fumble for the door, and manage to undo the lock just before the door is wrenched outward from your grasp. Something lands on your shoulder. A hand. Are you alright? A man stands at your open car door. His hand on your shoulder leaves to tilt your head up, and he pulls a flashlight from his coat, shining in your eyes. 2 blinks, and he lets your chin go. His eyes dart over the rest of you, looking for injuries. Still stunned, all you do is watch. What's your name? My name is Regular Person? Wait, what if I... You know what, I'm just gonna go with Lionel. Whatever. And my pronouns are he, him. Lionel, Stanford Pines. Fort for short. I would shake your hand, but you look shaken up enough as it is. You seem fine, as far as I can tell, but you shouldn't head back out there anytime soon. Where on earth were you driving in such a hurry? You open your mouth to explain when a voice calls from inside the house. Poindexter, this better not be one of your experiments again. I've had this place rebuilt too many times too. The owner of the voice walks out of the house and stops slack-jawed at the side of your car in the side of, you're guessing, his house. You must have hit your head earlier because you could have sworn you're seeing double. Sweet Moses, Fort, you've done it this time. What? This had nothing to do with me. I was testing my magnet gun and... Your magnet gun? It must have pulled this victim of circumstance into the house. I suppose it is entirely my fault. I'm incredibly sorry. I will reassure... Can I just cry? Can I just cry? I'm just gonna cry. A tear streaks down your cheek and before you know it, you're crying. Both men look intensely uncomfortable, but Ford reaches out to give you a hesitant pat on the shoulder. Hey, look, it's fine, alright. Sure, there's a dent in the hood from the shack signage and a crack in the windshield that looks like an ominous triangle, but I'm sure she'll still run. You try to start up the car. It sputters, but ultimately, nothing happens. You feel like crying again. Oh. Well, let's call a tow truck for this unfortunate soul here and forget... I'll take care of it. You're right. It is cheaper to tow it yourself, Sixer. Get that magnet gun out again. No, Stanley. I'm going to fix this. What? You fix this mess? You figured out a few alien vehicles in my time. Nah, you kidding me. It takes some sort of miracle worker to bring this baby back to life. And this miracle worker is on vacation. Stanley, a moment. Ford and Stanley turn away and you're left to your thoughts. Who could anticipate a car accident like this in the middle of a road trip? You can take care of the car, but how are you going to get home? They run buses out here, right? So you take a bus out of here and then... Ford clears his throat, shifting a little awkwardly in place. Seems like they finished their talk. So there are a few options. My brother Stanley here could drive you out to town to find a place to stay the night. Or you could stay the night here. We have some maps and information you can look at in the gift shop, and in the morning we can help you with your car. What do you say? Just as you're about to answer, another high-pitched voice came from inside the house. Grunkle Stan! Picture this, a whole week of... Oh my gosh! Wait, is it... Oh, it's Mabel! The girl that runs out of the house comes to a halt at the side of your car. Oh, great. Grunkle Ford? Why is it that everyone automatically thinks it's my fault? Well, this time it is my fault, but I've invited Lionel to stay with us for the night. If he'd like, I'm sure I can fix this. I just have to figure out how. Stanley sighs. I can take a look. Yeah, being on vacation's pretty boring, and the old Stanmobile hasn't needed a tune-up yet, so it wouldn't be too bad to work on something in the meantime. Thank you, Stanley. I'm sure I can put something together from the gadgets I have lying around if you need any specialized tools to help with the job. And let me introduce myself. I'm Mabel. You can ask me anything. I pretty much know everything there is to know about this place. Wait, hold on. Haven't even said anything yet. I appreciate your offer to let me stay. And to repair your car. Yeah, it'll be as good as new in my hands. I mean, look at my Stanmobile. She's been through the ringer who knows how many times and she's still a beaut. He points out a red car parked a distance away. You can't really see how beautiful it is at this distance, but he sounds really confident. Well, this turn of events is fortuitous. I mean, it is suspicious, but it's fortuitous. Free repairs, free lodging, there's no better deal to be found. And if things don't work out, the town probably has some sort of auto repair shop you can head to instead. Well, I accept. Thanks for the help. And my apologies again. What an embarrassment. I must have made such an elementary mistake. As the Pines lead you inside the house, Mabel leaves her number in your phone for you to call whenever, and you find out that Ford's twin goes by Stan. This part's the house, but just outside the door's the mystery shack. Hey, you ever been to the mystery shack before? I wanted to, actually. I saw a bumper sticker while I was on the road and got curious. You're interrupted by a loud, triumphant, "Ha! Those bumpers were a good investment." And Sixer says they're too plain and graphically simple and don't even have an address on them, Stanley. How is anyone supposed to find a place to attract customers? Sixer, did you hear that? Well, they are graphically simplistic. I don't know how he found the place, let alone thought what is the mystery shack was compelling. Kinda liked it. See? You kinda liked it. Hey, I like you, Lionel. How about I give you a tour sometime tomorrow? Regular price. Tomorrow? Then I have to squeeze all my get-to-know-you questions in today. Lionel, tell me, capybara, yes or no? At that moment, a boy passes in the hallway at the front doorway, and Ford calls out to him. Dipper, my boy! I'm surprised I didn't see you run out to the scene of the crime. Crime? What crime? I have an alibi. I saw... Oh, you have someone with you. I'm not suspicious at all. Did you guys see that car on the side of the shack, though? For a second, I thought the Minotaurs were back with a grudge. Yes, about that Dipper. Meet Lionel. I've, stranded his car here by accident. He's staying here for the time being. Sorry, stranded his car here? You crashed it? Yes, Uncle Ford did. Yes, the Essence shack fell on it and everything, and the windows are cracked. One window, the windshield. And Lionel was lucky to make it out alive. He's fine, no injuries, thankfully. The magnet gun's rather safe, despite never having been tested in a formal setting. Yeesh, did you not take safety precautions or anything? Actually, the irony of the situation is that I was trying to install a safety precaution? Ford, what the heck? Hey, if you two are gonna do your nerd talk, I'm gonna set Lionel up. Mabel, sweetie, why don't you show Lionel around? Let him stay in a storage room. That's still empty, right? I'll make it empty. The rest of the day consists of Mabel showing you the storage room you'll be staying in, then the kitchen and the living room and the hallway and the bathroom, and pretty much a comprehensive tour of the mundanities of a regular house. Eventually, you find out that the family is even more extended than you knew. The decorative doilies make a lot more sense knowing a grandmother normally lives here, and a grandson, Zeus. Or was it Zeus? Whatever the name. You look forward to meeting him when he comes in for work in the morning. When you go to the attic, Mabel opens the door to reveal Dipper, no stuck in his book, but you catch him occasionally glancing up at you as he pretends to read. The next member of the family snorts up at you from Mabel's bed, a rotund pink pig, who Mabel declares as a best friend and partner in crime. Waddles! The two are a perfect match, right down to the chubby cheeks and boopable noses. Can I boop Waddles? Is that something I can do? I want to boop Waddles. Oh, God. And in the evening, though you'd still be in disbelief over the state of your car. The family dinner and after dinner TV marathon you'd be invited to made it seem like a normal guest day rather than a forced circumstance. Returning to the storage room Mabel had shown you earlier, you find an air mattress waiting for you, and more pillows and sheets than a summer night warrants. You wake to the weak glare of sunlight streaming into the small, high window in the wall. You can't remember your room having this kind of feature, or any hotel or motel room for that matter, and then yesterday comes crashing back to you. You glance at the time to see that you've slept into the afternoon. Experiencing this accident yesterday must have left you tired out. Despite having been assured yesterday evening that you were free to anything in the fridge, you still feel like you're imposing on the Pines family and try preparing as polite a guest breakfast as you can. You wash your dishes in the sink before you leave, and just as you're about to exit the kitchen, you bump into Ford. Excuse. Oh! Yes, you! From yesterday, of course. For a good solid moment, Ford regards you in awkward silence. Ford clears his throat. I believe Stanley is taking a look at your car outside, if you want to be there for it. You give a nod and make a leave for real this time when Ford speaks up again. And Lionel, I'm sorry again for the accident. If I'd been smarter about, well, let's just say it's entirely my fault and you shouldn't worry about it at all. When it comes down to it, Stanley does have a knack for cars. And I predict you'll be back on the road in a matter of weeks. Weeks? You can't keep the dismay off your face, and you can't really bring yourself to try to either. What am I gonna do with weeks? Ford, who'd gone kind of uncomfortable and closed off when your face fell, recovers at the prospect of a question he can answer. Well, there's a town to tour, of course. And the Mystery Shack? But if you ask me, all of that pales in comparison to... Hold on. Did you hear that? Ford turns to the kitchen doorway to investigate. Sounds like... The sound comes again, and this time you hear it as well. A squeal of a pig, followed by a pair of quick footsteps running down the stairs. Waddle tumbles past the open kitchen doorway, and Mabel comes into view soon after. A few sheets of paper clutched in hand. Ford quickly steps out of the kitchen, and you follow to the doorway, getting there just in time to see the apparent tug of war between Mabel and her pig over a saliva-covered sheet of paper. The paper rips, and after nearly toppling backwards from her efforts, Mabel recovers, snatching the scrap of paper from Waddle's jaw and lifting both pieces up victoriously. Ha ha! Mabel wins again. Now I've got to find Grunkle Ford! Ford, who'd just run forward and held a hand out to steady this energetic child when she'd been in danger of toppling over, now finds a number of crumpled sheets of paper shoved in his hands. Mabel tugs urgently at his coat. Grunkle Ford, you've got to help me! Ford kneels down to face Mabel with a serious, though concerned look. Slow down, Mabel. What's the matter? Dipper found a stack of pages from your old journals, and I walked in and Waddles ran up and started eating one and he must have been chewing on it to warn me. Grunkle Ford, because look! Mabel takes the ripped halves of paper back from Ford's hand and joins them together, holding it up for Ford to see. Huh, I see. And you took it as a warning. Yes, it says here that it can eat small dogs, and Waddles is a small pig, but he sort of looks like a dog from far away, and Waddles must have feared for his life. Waddles seems to second this notion with a snort. Or not, as it seems the pig is lounging adorably a short distance away in the hallway. You can't imagine what this dangerous predator could be. Some kind of wolf? Something bigger? You're suddenly not so keen on staying anymore. But there's danger! Like, danger is fun! Remember the pterodactyl I told you about? Waddles was so scared that time. I couldn't let him leave my side. Pterodactyl? You suppose pigs are allowed in museums around here? How about I finish that repellent I never got around to completing? That'll keep Waddles safe from harm. Mabel flops down on the floor in relief. Grunkle Ford, you're an actual lifesaver. Waddles, you have nothing to fear. Ford chuckles, lifting himself out of the kneel and standing back up. Alright, I'll go get my recipe. You've got a recipe for pterodactyl repellent? Ford turns to leave, and you suddenly remember that with nothing better to do for the weeks you're going to be here, it wouldn't hurt to get to know Ford. He seems to know what there is to do around town anyway, and you'll need to do that to not die of boredom in the first week. I'm pretty sure boredom is not a thing you need to be worrying about in this town. Or more pressingly, you could go check on your car and see what Stan's made of it so far. You're not exactly eager to face seeing your car in the side of the house again, though. Let's go check on the car, because I might just go for the Stan route this time. Like, I'm just gonna go for it. So let's go check on the car. After Ford leaves, Mabel rolls away with a pig towards the living room, and you head out of the house in search for Stan. The mystery shack should only have 4 main sides, but you feel like you've made your rounds past 5 of them before finally seeing your absolute wreck of a car. You swear it looks even worse than it did when you crashed it. Stan stands before it, hand on his hips as he looks at the large wooden S that made its indent in the car's hood. How bad is it? Can't tell yet, not till I get this letter off the hood. That ass never did like staying in place. Mystery shack, huh? Look, if you're going to insult me... Oh, you were reading that sign. I'm fixing that later, alright? Just avert your eyes. Don't look at it. I guess I'll offer to help him. Guess we should fix it as soon as possible then. Sounds good to me. Give me a hand here, would you? Stan directs you to help him push the wooden ass off the car. It stalls a little on its own dent, but with another firm shove, its end meets the ground. Stan gives it another push with a grunt and it tips, falling completely to the ground with a whomp. Now that it's free of its burden, Stan lifts up the dented hood of the car to take a look inside. He hums and haws and rubs a hand over his chin in thought, walking over to his toolbox and grabbing a tool before walking back, still assessing the damage. Yeah, this one's gonna take a while. You've got parts that need replacing, not to mention she's not gonna look so hot after this, not unless Ford's got some tech squirreled away somewhere that can smooth out these dents. The more he tells you of the situation, the more all of this sinks in. You really are stuck here. Stan spots your worried frown. Hey, Lionel, right? Look, I know how this sounds, but with me on the job, you'll be all set and back on the road in no time. You think so? Kid, I know so. I've even got a plan to get those replacement parts of yours. Might not be able to clean up all the scuff marks after I'm done, but she'll run. And hey, so maybe you've got to stay a couple of days. So what? There's worse places to get stranded. Believe me, oh, I believe you. In fact, I'd even say the Mystery Shack is the best place to get stranded. We've got all tons of stuff for people just passing through. Merchandise, magic, mystery, and other words. Mayhem. You get the idea. Stan tosses the tool in his hand back in the toolbox, exchanging it for another. He works for a while longer in your silence. Metallic clanks and occasional heavy breaths. All of that mixes in with the sounds of the outdoors. You stand by, awkward, uncomfortable, and a little useless. Can I help you with anything? Know anything about cars? No. Stan straightens, cracks his back, and sets down a tool before leaning casually against the nearest load-bearing surface. He wipes his forehead, lets his hand fall to his waist, and gives you an assessing look. How about collages, tall tales, improv? Yeah, I think I can handle that. But what does that have anything to do with this? You gesture at your stranded car, held in limbo between life and death by nothing other than Stan Pine's car expertise and a little luck. Nothing. I was planning on having you help Zeus around the shack. A favor for a favor. What do you say? Well, it's more interesting than helping Ford with his pest problem. You accept. Alright, follow me. Am I gonna be doing some improv for Zeus? You follow Stan back to the Mystery Shack, passing by the showroom and getting a glimpse of an energetic figure leading a flock of tourists through a veritable sea of obviously fabricated oddities. You hear the words, and this is the 9th wonder of the world, right in the Mystery Shack, is what makes this place world famous, dudes. Stan notices your pace slowing as you listen and tosses an explanation back for you. That's Zeus. During operating hours, he's the Mystery Shack one and only Mr. Mystery. I told him he didn't have to keep the shack running while he's on vacation, but the kid's got a passion for the role. You interested in this kind of stuff? Yeah, I was thinking about going on a tour. It feels weird now that you're staying at a tourist trap though, and you were kind of going to poke fun at the exhibits. Harder to do when you have to live around your tour guide. It's fine, really. Nah, I think I want to give you a tour of the place. You'll get one from the founder himself. You ever hear one of my plugs on the radio? You weren't really paying attention to the radio during the drive. Just taking in the Oregon scenery. See, the signs pointing to this place for over a mile down the road? Again, you were pretty preoccupied with the Oregon scenery, but you guess you did see some signs with question marks on them. That's some vague advertising. Just seeing what words. Bumper stickers, huh? Yeah, still got one on Ford. Anyway, follow me, folks. Well, folk, get ready to be amazed. Stan starts leading you back the way you came. You trail behind him, a little skeptical, but definitely curious. Didn't you say the founder would lead this tour? Is Zeus the founder? Stan laughs. What? No! I'm the founder. Built this place from the ground up. Well, metaphorically speaking, I mean. The house was here, and the junk was here, but I was the one that spun this place into a wondrous house of mysterious junk. Stan gestures with his arms like he's smoothing out a rainbow. You're not very impressed. Prepare to be amazed. You're still not very impressed, but his energy gets you hoping you'll be amazed anyway. There's a tour group in the showroom right now, so I'll be taking you in a different cycle that completely misses them. We're starting in the gift shop. You enter the gift shop. A simple room crowded top to bottom with standard tourist souvenirs and merchandise. You see t-shirts with question marks, mugs with question marks, and pretty much everything has question marks. In one corner of the room stands a lumpy attempt of a statue labeled the founder, recognizable as Stan only by the nose and glasses. This room usually comes after I butter the customers up to buying things, but since you're staying a while, I'll have plenty of time to sell you this stuff later. Take a look around. If you see an impulse buy, make it. Nothing like trusting your instincts. Oh my god. Founder statue, Aztec calendar, jar of... I want a jar of eyeballs. Thought we sold this thing a long time ago. Nah. I forgot to put a price on it. Just has a dollar sign on it. Stan takes a dust marker and squeezes in a $9.99. Then he goes back and makes it $29.99. That jar's got a lot of eyeballs. I guess I'll look at a founder statue. Yeah, should have asked Mabel to carve it. You gotta admit that every version of me's got a charming smile, though. I'm gonna look at the Aztec calendar. I absolutely know how to read that thing, and you should buy it. Gosh darn, freezer full of ice goods. Just because you're staying over doesn't mean you get to sneak over here for a popsicle. I get to do that, but that's because this used to be my place, and I get founder's benefits. I also get founder's dibs on the pineapple ice pops. T-shirt. Who doesn't love a good souvenir t-shirt? They're great for layering. And they've got the characteristic Mystery Shack question mark on them. One makes it a Mystery Shack question mark instead of a regular question mark. Do you ask too many questions? Or do you? He says that last part in an exaggerated tone that betrays it as a sales pitch. This guy has no subtlety. Pine tree hat. Dipper used to wear one of these. Zeus tells me they sold like hotcakes after Ford tossed his journals into the bottomless pit. Funny, those events have no correlation. Journals? Bottomless pit? We'll have a chance to swing by the bottomless pit later. It's a prime spot on every tour because the troublemakers always accidentally trip in, and I get to lead the tour without them for 20 minutes. I'm kidding. Should have seen the look on your face. Pyramid of bugs. You can't actually take that one out of the stack. I glued them together way back when. Secret business trick. And you're telling me because no one will ever believe you. Then they'll try it, and the whole stack will fall to the floor. You notice the you break it, you buy it sign on the wall. Employee of the month. Sue's always been the hardest work in this place. It was only natural to hand it over to him. I'm done looking. You sure? Well, I think I hear the tour group heading out of the showroom anyway. Now, most tourists don't appreciate nature's artistic genius. By which I mean my artistic genius, because I remembered you're gonna help me out today. You don't think up a money-making wonder like the Sasquatch by having a boring 9-to-5 office job. You think it up when you wonder, why hasn't anyone found the Sasquatch? Could it be that its name has been mispronounced this whole time? Anyway, just let me know when you've soaked up enough inspiration from this room, because you're gonna need to use it after. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm gonna need to use this inspiration? Alright, come on, you've seen what makes this place a mystery shack instead of just the shack. We're making another attraction for the showroom. Another attraction? You follow Stan through the living room to the kitchen, where stuffing and animal parts are strewn across the surface to your left. Stan pulls out a thick needle and a spool of thread, and as an afterthought, adds a couple of nails and a hammer to the pile. It seems a little unsanitary to do this right across the fridge, and has the potential to look almost gruesome if it weren't so oddly cartoonish. He steps up to the workplace and pulls at the googly eyes that have been glued over the lifeless, glassy ones typical of taxidermy. Abel's contributions to the craft project remains firmly intact. That's what I get for letting Mabel bring her stash of scrapbooking supplies. That's one more thing to add to the backstory. Backstory? What? You don't really think tourists are dumb enough to believe that the thing you're selling them is what you tell them it is, just like that, do you? Because if you do, you'll be set to do business in Gravity Falls. Anywhere else, though, customers take a little more work. See, every good piece comes with some kind of story. Or if you're Poindexter, some kind of lore. Horror stories work pretty well because with enough suggestion, people can always find ways to spook themselves. Done it for years. It's kind of an art. Stan appears nonchalant, but you can see a quiet pride within him. I guess it sounds tough. That's why I'm here, to make sure you do it right. You're still doing all the work, so... You said you've done this for years. Always had a knack for it, even when I was a kid. Sure, there was a little learning curve involved, and I had a few unhappy customers over the years. Stan pauses seemingly to reminisce, and the mixed smile and grimace on his face tells you that he probably had many unhappy customers. But mostly I've run great businesses on telling lies. I mean stories! You're learning from a true master, kid. So why don't you run this place anymore? You work like you're still part of this place. What was your original vision for the shack? Let's get to the showpiece already. I want to know what's his original vision. Vision. Make money. What other vision do you need? But over the years, sure, I've used the mystery line for advertising. Who isn't curious? Who doesn't want to be amazed? Kids are the skeptical of the bunch, though. Let me tell you, once they hit about 8 or 9, they love trying to prove it's all fake. Then they get older and realize there's nothing good left in the world unless you pretend there is. And everyone pretends along with you because they're all desperate. Why don't you run the place anymore? Stan's grin melts into something softer, maybe a little bittersweet. My brother wanted to drag me off on a trip with him. Couldn't say no, and I couldn't just close the place, so I just left it all to Seuss. He practically grew up in this place, you know? Definitely wouldn't have entrusted it to Wendy. She's usually the cashier around here in the summer. It's weird having to explain all this to you. I keep thinking you already know all this. You work like you're still part of this place. You can take the man out of the mystery shack, but you can never take the mystery out of the man. Specifically me, which is why I'm back to work, even though I don't have to. 30 years of the same routine will do that to you. Stan turns his attention back to the workplace, and you notice one more daunting selection of items that lay upon the table. It's not the number, but the variety that makes you unsure of how you're going to craft something out of this. Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do with this stuff. Surprise me! Stan walks off to the side, you guess, to do some work of his own. You're glad he's not going to watch you all the way through. Piecing together as many matching parts as you can find, piecing together as many disparate parts as you can find. Keep things a nice mix of matched and mismatched. Let's do that. How should you keep these parts attached? Use some hand stitching and really tie all this together. Yeah, that will make it a lot more realistic. Okay, you have the base to work off. What's next? Add some sculpted details, color in some of the fur to accent the googly eyes? Add some sculpted details. Why not? Hey Stan, I'm finished. Hey, not bad, Lionel. Not bad at all. Stan lifts your anomalous amalgam aloft triumphantly. So, what's the story here? Give it to me. How do you want to approach this? Well, I guess let's just have some fun with it. Why not? This is Fiskworkin, a fish squirrel chicken? Stan nods appraisingly. Sounds like you got the hang of this. Alright, this thing's about as close to show ready as it'll get. Wait here a sec. Stan carries the showpiece out of the room. After a few moments, you hear his footsteps return, and he comes into the room with 2 cans of pit cola. Stan sets one down on the dining table. Its condensation starting to slowly drip onto the table's surface. He waves you over to join him, and you slide into the seat across from him. Nothing like a cold one to finish up the day. Cheers! He picks up the can, gesturing it towards you as he leans leisurely back in his chair, and you watch as he takes a sip. It's a nice looking sip, and now you're staring. You pull over your own can and pop it open. So, got any questions for me? Talking tends to ease me into new place, and might do the same for you. So, got any questions for me? Talk to me about Ford. Is Ford usually like that? You mean tried to fix what ain't broken and ending up making trouble? Nah, he was a good twin growing up. You were the troublemaker, I can tell. Stan laughs. You have no idea. Talk to me about the exhibits. The showroom already seemed so full when I saw it earlier. Why make more? Tourists love variety. Put up a sign advertising a new attraction and they'll come pouring through the doors. When I started this place, I didn't think I'd, like making these. Used to be just another thing that made money. Now I'm stuck with it. Guess 30-something years of routine will do that to a man. Stan sounds gruff, but it's a fun gruffness. Sixer says keeping familiar habits helps too, so I've kept it up. You think I could sell some of these as art pieces? I mean, yeah, why not? Yeah, I could play them up to buyers and sell them at an even more ridiculous price than I usually would. I'd buy one. I'm holding you to that. Yeah, about you. So tell me about yourself, Grunkle Stan. I mean, heck, this is a Grunkle dating sim, so of course I do want to know about Stan the man. Oh yeah, my great Grunkle Stan. Stan laughs nervously. What is this, a first? Don't call me out, please. Well, I'm Pines. Stan Pines, Imaginator, Town Darling. You used to be proprietor of the Mystery Shack. He pauses and stays paused. You give him an expectant look that makes him want to continue and clears his throat, nervous. What? You were serious? I don't, get this often. The longest I can get people to listen to me is when I'm selling them something, and even then, it's tough luck. Last time someone listened to me, they tried to eat me. Can you believe that? I barely got much meat left on me. I mean, I want to eat you, but not in a way you're probably thinking. And keep going. You can't just end it there. Stan gives an uncertain smile, which becomes a full-on grin, and he laughs. Alright, I'll tell you. So, you see, there's this irresistible thing called revenge. Stan tells you a tale of a road trip, a mountain full of mummies, and a woman who was secretly a spider. You don't believe a word of it, but you find yourself enjoying it anyway. Stan knows how to hold his audience in a decent suspense, and he seems to light up whenever you laugh at the right parts, grinning along with you. Before today, you never even heard of Mr. Mystery before, but now you feel like you're really seeing something special here. A one-on-one with the man himself. About his past. You're really interested in me, huh? Why do you ask everyone these kinds of questions? I'm mainly interested in you, Grunkle. Alright, ever heard of smuggling pugs? No. Who smuggles pugs? Exactly. That's because everyone in the business is good at keeping secrets. Really good. So why am I telling you? I'm out of business. I don't care. This absolutely isn't so that if the authorities question you, you'll give false information that'll lead them off my trail. Right, sure thing. Stan loads you up with false information that may or may not contain kernels of truth within them. It's surprisingly hard to tell whether the crazier parts are embellishment or the real deal. Stan tips his head back to get the final sip of pit, then sets his empty can down with an air of finality. Well, Lionel, you did good for your first try. If you feel like helping me around here again sometime, returning the favor on the car, let me know. You nod, and Stan gets up to leave, when he remembers something. Wait, I still owe you the price of admission, right, for the tour earlier? Huh? Nah, don't worry about it. Give me something to hold over you if I need it. He says that and he leaves, but even from what little you've seen of him, you feel like Stan's not the type to really hold that over you, at least. Not for anything serious. This tourist trap might have more to offer you than you thought. So hey, I think that's where I'm gonna end today's episode. There is still a lot more to this dating sim, so if you guys do want to see more, let me know in the comments below. And heck, let me know like if you would prefer to like date Stan or Uncle Ford, Grunkle Ford. And yeah, we might be back with more of this soon, so stay tuned for that. If you guys want to see more, definitely subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And it's not like I'm going, oh yeah, just because like I'm messing up on my words and I don't know where any of this is going. I mean, it's totally not because I'm totally distracted at the moment by just how absolutely beautiful you look today. Yes, I'm talking about you right there. Yes, I am talking to you. But anyway, I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day. And I'll be seeing you in the next video. This is Lionel signing off. Ciao.